Hey guys, Anorganic Pixel, talking a little bit about farming within Deadlock. I know farming is not exactly the most entertaining part of any MOBA game, but Deadlock allows you to be really creative with what you could do in terms of what works and what kind of like small little mechanics work within the realm of Deadlock. I think because it's a 3D person shooter in that 3D space, there are a lot of like crazy options in terms of how Deadlock functions, and even mechanically with some of its like small touches with the reloading, sliding, jumping, and your height making a big difference. That whole Z-axis really kind of makes farming a little bit more entertaining than most other MOBAs would be, where it's just a point-and-click adventure game. And this is just kind of to showcase like how silly and creative you could be. I guess within that realm, in terms of what I'm going to showcase today is kind of walk through step by step what I mean by farming. The first thing I want to talk about is what hurts minions and what doesn't. So most of these minions, like this one as well as the base minion, have the ability to be critical hit. So if you hit their body, they're only going to do like about, in Dynamo's case, 4 hits per shot. If you were to hit their head though, you get a critical hit, and that gives you like a multiplier of like 7 or whatever. This is just, by the way, what I'm showing is just out of the gate, you just get off the zip line, you ran right to the Guardian. This is what you're seeing here in terms of Dynamo's damage scaling here. I haven't put any abilities or trinkets or whatever on him. And by the way, these critical hits exist on these little guys too. So if you hit their body, their legs, their eyes, the eyes is ultimately what gives you a critical hit. And you might be thinking like, oh yeah, anything with an eye like that, or anything with like fire pit like that on the top of its head has a critical hit chance. Not exactly. From what I understand, the minions, the base minions, the guys, the little candle guys that run around, those guys also have the ability to get a critical hit. Those camps have the ability to get critical hit. Surprisingly though, the mid boss, to my understanding, doesn't have the ability to get critical hitted. I'm gonna research this before I edit this video, but yeah, if you hit the body and if you hit the eye, it does the same amount of damage. So I was kind of shocked to learn that. I always assumed that hitting it in the eye would actually do damage, or critical hit damage. Part of me wonders if it's because he has the shield on. I'm not 100% sure. Testing in this environment, it's a little tough, so I'm going to just edit. But here's where you can get kind of creative with Deadlock's farming ability. The minions work based off the line of sight, and because you're in New York, you have all these like cover options that exist, all these like buildings you can kind of go into, or walls you can hide behind, and so you really don't have to take on all minions at the same time. Why do you want to avoid taking on all minions at the same time? Well, if you don't want to take a plethora of damage, or if you want to be kind of stealthy about it, or if you want to steal your opponent's farm and whatnot, these give you options. And other things that give you options too is the movement ability within the stairs, the sliding and whatnot, punching. So combining all of this together gives you a lot of options in terms of how quickly you could farm, how effectively you could farm. So sliding between these two stairs on green and blue, or blue and yellow, those give you some options, and also they exist across the whole map. The next thing I want to kind of briefly touch on is the center sacrifice boxes. The way these work, and just to give you a general idea, is that the lights at the very top indicate the health of the Skinner sacrifice. So if you ever wanted to know when it's going to pop, keep in mind though that the second one is going to be the one that is kind of the last hit, no matter what type of hit you do, whether it's a big hit or if it's just a little light slap. And one other thing too is that you can also get a perk after it gets the last light with a light slap as well. With the big hit, though, you get 3 perks. So when you get to 2, hit it big, and then hit it big again. Time it to where the third light is lit, and then that kind of gives you the best chances at getting the big grand slam, kahuna, whatever you want to call it. One last thing I'll show here, one little aspect about this camp particularly, is that height can also be a big advantage as well. So like as you see, I just instigated that camp right there. You really don't have to with this one because they're all out of the ground, so you have free reign on them. And I think sometimes, the rest of the stuff I'm going to show you right now, by the way, I kind of have a general feeling Valve might fix in the future. I'd be very surprised if they left it as is right now with this specifically. This camp, by the way, even if you're on top of this building here, like you saw in the other one, that big guy does hit back a bit, but you are at such a big distance that the damage he does from that distance is not that bad. This next one I'm going to show you is, I'm tempted to say it should stay as is, but see the little shadow closet there? I get these guys agitated to get them out of the ground and everything. Go back to this closet, they don't attack, and I get free reign, get a few free hits on them without taking damage. You can kind of just go in and out of this closet and basically continue this little dance you're doing here with these guys, but again, helping you avoid damage. You can even get it to where the minions get all confused and stay out of the ground longer when you're in there and whatnot, and just gives you a lot of chances to kind of mind game. But yeah, again, just using cover is a big part of this. Using the slide mechanic is a big piece. Conserving that ammo and ultimately getting the minion camps done quickly and effectively as possible is a big part of what I think makes Deadlock, farming a lot more interesting. Another thing too I'll say about Deadlock farming is that it doesn't take up that much of your time. I mean, obviously the larger camps take up a little bit longer and whatnot, and things like walkers do require a lot of teamwork to get those things done. But there is a lot of kind of nuance to the farming within Deadlock. One of the reasons I like it, and this kind of gives you a lot of chances to kind of change up how you're playing the game a bit, how you even maybe approach farming. With this one specifically, if you wanted to, you could get a few hits underground and whatnot. But each farm and each camp has its own little quirks and whatnot. And just kind of like remembering and discovering what those quirks might be and playing around them is what I find to be so interesting about the farming within Deadlock. I do want to talk about the fish market one. This one I think might need to get looked at if I was to make one, a criticism of one. Getting in this camp right here gives you free reign on all these guys. And if you are in like green lane on this side of the map, or if you have this camp to your side of the map, to be honest with you, having this pop up is arguably more beneficial than that like very tier 1 camp that your opponent spawn with on the other side. You basically have free reign to most of those minions right there, and you don't take any damage. It just ultimately just takes up your time. But depending on the character you're running, I mean, I'm just playing Dynamo, and I'm also just base Dynamo here in this footage that you're seeing. But I mean, that's a pretty crazy kind of exploit right there on that side of the map, or even in that part of the map specifically. If you can take away one thing from this video, though, is that I would encourage you to get into the Explore Map option and then just kind of go crazy with this. Just trying to see what's doable, what's feasible within the realm of Deadlock. I do wish the bot component of this, or maybe even like the teammate component of this, worked a little bit better. Getting the little bots to control and do what you want, it could be a little bit of a challenge. But as you can see here, you're just seeing a lot of this kind of experimentation that exists within this map specifically. I am curious to get a general idea. I'm wondering what the audience thinks here as well, as like how far along do you think Valve is with kind of like finalizing how camps work within Deadlock. It's one of those, again, it's always one of those things that's so interesting about Deadlock is you never really truly know what's been kind of Valve approved or what's going to be part of the actual game. So seeing that develop over time is interesting. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in terms of like what you saw in this video. Did you learn something new at least from this video? That'd be a huge win for me if you did. But thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and yeah, let me know what you guys think.
Krill. Oh, diver here.